a professor. I do a lot of different things in the field right now, and I'm impressed with the work that Vikram is doing to pull all these different groups together and talk about important things. And this is indeed an important day for all of us to be coming together. So thank you so much, Vikram.
You know that I create these days because I just feel that these are not celebrated. So let's create an International Commercial Mediation Day. Look, you have to just create some hype around these things because we need to be highlighted, and that's what's not happening. So let's just put it out there. So yes, hi Gabriel. Gabriel, yes. How are you?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
And of course, Jonathan is there. Actually, Jonathan was supposed to be one of the people who was supposed to launch it. Then he's been very busy. He's went across Australia on a, I don't know what, 4,500 kilometer drive. So, but anyway, I think what I can do is up till Mr. Panchu comes in. I hope he comes in. Just a little introduction to what the concept is. But Palak, you can also put your video on. Paras, Tina, Zorika, please put your videos on. Meet everyone. Palak has some bad bandwidth, and of course, you Mary, is saying you can't stay too long. Paras, you want to put your video on? The idea, I mean, the whole idea behind the, like I just said, Mary, was that let's create some hype around these things. Let's highlight the aspect of commercial mediation separately. These various, I'm putting out the various circles so that we can, I'm just like planting seeds. So I'm trying to plant seeds everywhere. So this is one of the seeds. We had on 8th, we had that International Reflective Practice group being launched by Michael Lang. So let's just put these seeds out, and let's over time they'll grow as they grow. So the, of course, 12 September 2020, the Singapore Convention came into force. So let's celebrate that as International Commercial Mediation Day. And of course, Singapore Convention, yes, it's out there, but we only have some 11 ratifications. And Lisa, hi Lisa. So this is what the circle is. Of course, it's part of the World Mediation Circle, which I tell people, please read about it on mediatorvikram.com, because we keep repeating myself. All the contact details are here. But yes, the World Mediation Circle, basic idea is there. Idea being, first of all, what is mediation? We have to at least agree on that. I think that blind men in the elephant situation, everyone has their own understanding of mediation, which doesn't, I mean, everyone's right in their own way. It's the elephant. Everyone's right. But finally, everyone has to work in their area. So in my area of what I want to do, and I'm sure all of you are with the same thought process, is to bring a moral values, principles, and ethics-based humanistic approach to dispute resolution, where heart, soul, spirituality play an important role. So this is my way of looking at mediation. Of course, the definition that is out there is from the Singapore Convention, basically, but the Singapore Convention had to leave out certain things because of the way mediation went. It left out voluntary because obviously the court system spoiled that aspect. So they left this out. They did not put informal there because, again, through the court system and all, how is it being practiced? So they left this out. They left out trusted because people were being given mediators, which obviously they did not choose. I mean, trust is it's long way off. So these are words which do not fit in there. But for me, these are important parts of mediation, which we have to put out there. So this is why I put this definition out there. This is my thought process behind it. So mediation circles being created, schools, colleges, organizations, and communities. Organizations, for me, I think for everyone keeps saying mediators don't have enough work. I'm saying that organizational mediator, I think, is an important area which we need to work on, because that is work for mediators available out there to create that space. The ombuds is a concept, of course, in the US, very prevalent in universities and organizations, but too wide an activity, so much in it. I mean, there's conflict coaching, there is lots more happening there. Mediation is such a small percentage of their work. So it's a specialized area. Keep it as a specialized area. They need to be organizational mediators. separately. I am saying it should be outsourced. They don't have to be in the organization. It helps in the independence and everything. So that's one area. Of course, in schools, colleges, we have to make them. Gabrielle is working in Ecuador in schools, and she's taking it through. Again, it's a seed. We planted that seed, Gabrielle. It'll grow. We'll make it grow slowly as we go along. So place-based Ecuador mediation circle. Business, of course, we have the commercial mediation circle, and this is international one. We'll have them in every country, and then down as local as we can get. So it's global to local kind of a thing. Identity based, issue based, like global climate change mediation circle was something that I put out there. There'll be various other such circles that will come in. So that's there. So this is how it's going to, I mean, these circles within circles kind of thing will happen. So what do we have in part of the circle? We have the mediators, but for me, it's the mediator mindset. No special qualification, training, or experience required for my circle. I mean, of course, a lot of people do have a certain, I mean, a different thought process on this. Of course, that thought process will exist, and I am not going to fight that thought process. For me, it's people with the mindset. And all these certification, training, accreditation, I don't now talk about it because in my events, I've spoken so much about this. And first, of course, alienated all institutions around the world because I'm saying that that's an issue, but I'm not going to talk about it now. I've stopped that. So people who have the mindset, identifying them right at the grassroots level, we'll take them forward. Skill development programs will happen. We have the best in the world who've already been in the shows. So we have so much content, more than 650 videos out there. So people can benefit from that, but we'll have more skill development programs, which are more in relation to the practical aspect of it. Maybe these people might need more the practical part. For me, the experience of various people, reflective practice groups will happen. So it's that kind of, those are the mediators will come out, and because they're already practicing as mediators in communities, in schools, in colleges, in organizations, we bring them out and create a structure around it. That's where the circle comes in. Peacemakers for me are very important. I mean, the people who are going to get all this together, that skill by itself is an important skill. Everyone can't bring people together. So those peacemakers for me, as Francis, what I was just going to tell you, that we need to maybe identify the peacemakers first who will bring all this together. They will identify the mediators. They'll bring the disputing people together. So I think my focus now is on identifying these peacemakers, which for me, school teachers is going to be a focus area. I'm going to be working on them, bringing them out. So they go out, they talk about mediation, talk to the disputing people, bring them together, identify the mediator, puts it all together. So they are by themselves an institution by themselves, that peacemaker. And then, of course, participants, people who want to resolve disputes in an amicable, collaborative manner. But then this becomes a community by itself. So it's not just about resolving that dispute. It's about now you're a community of people who have that mindset. Now take this through in various things around you. It could be issues in relation to, say, a project happening near your place. It could be things with the government. It could be anything. It's a group of people who believe in conversations, discussions, resolving things amicably. So this community comes together. And then after that, as the next, I don't know whether you people read that article that Ken had written. We actually, Sarah and me had a discussion on this in the last World Mediators Conference. Mediators as leaders and leaders as mediators. And Ken has written an article, which was, of course, it's on my newsletter, the link. So that's what the future after that is, mediators as leaders. And then let's see. I mean, these are just steps being taken. So people want to be part of it. They fill the form. Otherwise, just get in touch with me. And of course, these are some of the things that's I put out there. Be part of a grassroots movement, be part of a gifting culture. Idea was that let's not look at, okay, you to be part of this, you have to pay this. Everyone's from different parts of the world, they're in different circumstances. To say that, no, you have to pay this, only then you can be part of it, was not something I wanted to do. So gift, and people who are part of it. But of course, mediators can, I mean, negotiate their fees, peacemakers and negotiate their fees. That's up to them. That's on between them and the people there. I'm not getting into that. Networking, collaboration, skill development, participation in events. That's about it. So that's my thought. Now, each of you are going to give me your thoughts on this. Who's going to start? Francis, are you going to start? Any thoughts on this entire thing that I've told you? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, heavy task there. I expected to come this morning to hear. Well, first of all, hello everyone. I'm Francis, and I'm a judge in Barbados, and I have been exposed to mediation, well, mediation groups in Europe, the United States, and of course the Caribbean. And of course, as Barbados is part of the Commonwealth, so that should give you an idea of the kind of law that we practice in Barbados, and the fact that a big part of my mediation knowledge is connected to court-connected or court-annexed mediation. So I understand why Vikram is looking at the definition and making a distinction between the definition that he would use for mediation broadly versus something that is connected to the court system. I understand what he's trying to do in terms of people trying to form focus groups, various levels, various communities of practice, specializations, et cetera, where you would want to try to make an input, a peculiar kind of input. And what I was thinking of speaking about this morning, if I had an opportunity, I have now got that opportunity, is to reflect on those aspects of commercial mediation which I have witnessed or which I've thought about, and make a few comments on it. But I don't want to sort of interfere with Vikram's flow of thought and what he's trying to introduce here. So
no,
I don't know if
what we'll do is we'll come back to you. Let's just get little thoughts from everyone, and then maybe we can then go back, because Mary also wanted to leave. So let's just get her thoughts.
Sure.
Everyone just, and then we'll definitely discuss everything that you have in mind. Time, is never a factor on my shows. The Michael Lang's birthday celebration went on for 3 hours. We did not know it's going to take that long. So yes, Mary, what are your thoughts? First thoughts. Let's say first thoughts.
First of all, I thought what Francis said was very good. I think it's important for all of us to be aware of the different ways every part of the world is dealing with mediation, because it's different, but the commonalities are the kinds of things that you put together in the document we just saw. I believe it's very important that we create as many of these different networks as possible. I do a lot of work for the International Academy for Dispute Resolution, and we offer tournaments for college students and for law students to help them, first of all, get training in mediation, but then practice those skills. And probably one of the other things that we do that's most important, and I always tell them this, it's not the tournament, it's connecting with other people around the world, so that we have more bridges instead of, more walls separating us, that we need more people connecting with each other and thinking about it. Our world today is increasingly complex, and individuals are more distant from each other and from people around the world than they have been. And I think that that's created a situation that really calls for mediators to be there. So Vikram, I really like what you're doing. I think the more ways we connect, I was very interested in the reflective practice, and when I went to sign up for it, something glitched on my computer, so I don't know that I ever got signed up. But I think the things you're doing, I think a reflective practice is critical for mediators. But I think these circles that you're talking about, and there's been a lot of research on the value of those, especially as we look to connect each other. And even when I look at this screen, I see people I've connected with through other networks. I think that holds a hope for our future, for a better future than what we some of us may worry that we don't have today. So I think this is in the right direction. I think it's finding more ways for like-minded people with that mediator mindset, be they mediators or just people with the spirit of wanting to work together and work things out peacefully. I think that that's critical. So I'm very much in favor of this and appreciate the work you're doing.
No, thank you very much. And look, now the whole idea is let's just get on to work at the grassroots level. So when you say that you do competitions, of course competitions will happen, but for me these children in schools and colleges are our connection to communities. I want them not to go for mock mediations, not to play a game. It's not a game, it's a real emotions are there. So why not they go down into communities, into their families, and say, do you have a dispute? They identify the mediators in the community and say, let's go to this person, let's sit with this person. So they become our peacemakers. Actual mediations happening, it could be the smallest of things, one neighbor issue. Why don't we just have the, okay, of course, first thing, why don't you people sit together and do it? No, we can't. No problem. Let's get this person in. If the person has wisdom or whatever, look, criteria for identifying someone with the mediator mindset, we also don't know what all goes into it. It's the trust that people have. So they trust the person. So these children in schools and colleges should be used for that. They should actually be out there identifying the mediators, identifying people with the disputes, bringing them together, bringing that whole mediation together in colleges. If they actually do that, I'm saying that's your real experience with mediation. That's when you start learning. Theory, it's not theory. This is actual practice. It's experiencing these things. And I'm saying to develop a culture of mediation, experience at the most basic level. It doesn't matter. It's the experience. And once you can experience it and you know that someone else can actually assist you to resolve something, you'll look at a more complex thing and then more complex. That's how it'll grow. We are trying to put the whole concept out there. And people think of it as some theoretical concept. No, it's very practical. It's something that you were very familiar with. Again, it goes back to the various events I did, mediation in our culture and traditions, indigenous peoples and mediation. It's that whole and colonization, decolonization, mediation, because we cut off from something which existed there. And then, of course, we've all part of a system which has taken over the world. So we have to change our mindsets. Yes, of course. Hi, Susanna. Hi, Manuela. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Sebel. Each of us are just, I mean, of course, Catherine wasn't there. We are talking about whatever I spoke about in relation to the mediation circle. Yes, Gabriel, your thoughts. You're working on the ground. You're actually connecting with schools. So please.
Hello, everyone. I don't know if I reached everyone before when I say hello. I'm trying. I'm starting my project to reach to children and teenagers. And I'm really excited because as you, I believe that it's there's some certain something that people have that make someone a mediator. Yesterday, I was talking to a colleague. I'm a full-time mediator, and my colleague was saying that she feels that all these people study a lot to be a mediator. And I kept telling her, it's not how much you study, is what you have to bring to other people. So I hope I can do that in schools, and I'm knocking the doors in high schools to see if I can reach to the next generation and maybe make them fall in love with this concept that helping others solve their problems, it's a wonderful thing. So here I am trying.
And the important thing that we discussed was that we are not going there to teach them anything. We are telling them, you know everything. You know who your mediators are. They're already out there. They're already helping you. Why don't you just make a little structure around this so these people are identified, they are valued. Main thing is being valued. So these people are valued, and talk about your experiences. We'll do little video clips. We'll put these little experiences out there. Let people connect. It could be the, like I said, smallest of issue. But it's the same issue happens in Ecuador, it happens in India, it happens in Argentina, it happens in Turkey. Same issues. People face the same issues. The language changes, the way they look changes, but the human beings have certain similarities when it comes to conflicts and disputes. So I think they'll relate to it. So people will relate to it anywhere in the world. So let's put those clips out. So yes. So Palak, what is here? Look, this is the important part in terms of pronouncing someone's name correct. If you don't pronounce Palak properly and you pronounce this Palak, Palak is spinach. Palak is spinach and Palak is eyelash or eyelash. Palak is?
Yes.
Yes. Right. So from eyelash, it becomes spinach only by the pronunciation.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for putting that caveat every time we meet.
I have to tell people because someone might just
Yeah,
pronounce it incorrectly and
yeah,
you might be too polite to
yeah. No,
correct
no,
them.
no. I have a lot of childhood trauma. So I am so sorry. I'm a bit under the weather today, and also there's just very heavy rain, so bit difficulty of network. But thank you so much for organizing. As always, like it's amazing to be part of this community, and I've learned so much. I mean, I don't see as you say, like I don't see myself like a professional mediator. I've just started understanding what mediation is, what are the ends and bounds of it, or if there are any. And I mean, seeing everything that you have done, I feel there are just no ends to it. I thought, I'll read this book and, I'll just become the master of mediation, or I'll just do this course and I'll become the master of mediation. But it turns out that no, that's definitely not how it's going to be. It's all about what you are within and what you bring to the table, how you create that rapport, that trust, that confidence with the people you are collaborating with, how you encourage them, help them to understand their own solutions that they have to live with. So that's the beauty of being a mediator. I mean,
Okay, Palak, you don't have to even sell the concept. All the people here are sold on the
yes,
concept.
absolutely,
And what
absolutely.
you have to tell us
I'm
is,
actually selling it to myself.
yeah, but what you have to tell us is in relation to your work with the
Yeah,
government,
yes,
where do you see that part developing? We have to do a government mediation
yes,
circle? We have to develop that. So that's going to
definitely.
be a separate thing.
So personally, I do work a lot with government stakeholders, and that's how I connected with Vikram as well on how we can see mediation being used in government disputes. Because it's a very different kind of a party if we talk about government and their disputes. It's very unusual, and bringing them to the table is very difficult. There are just so many challenges. So how we can use that mediation, how we can use peace building processes when one of the parties or both the parties are or multi parties are government parties. So handling those challenges and working towards it is something that I am also personally looking into and getting inspiration from. I think last time we talked about, so you told me that Ecuador is doing pretty amazing work in terms of how government disputes are being resolved via mediation.
Yeah,
So,
what we do is like I said, the
yes,
government mediation circle that we create, we'll
yes,
get Gabrielle's there, her
definitely,
colleagues are there, we'll bring them in and actual experiences that they have. And in
right,
terms of the legislation, in the sense, the bill that has been passed in
right.
Parliament talks about commercial disputes of government can go into mediation.
Actually,
So
yes,
at
yes,
least something has been put out
something
there
put
where
out there.
we have something to do. Yes,
Yes,
Gabrielle, you'll have a
yes.
role to play in that government mediation circle also. But we'll get
It's so
Gabriella.
exciting. I worked in those types of disputes for more than 8 years, so I get really excited.
Yes,
So
yes. So we'll
yeah,
take your expertise and we'll form that government mediation circle. That's going to happen.
definitely.
Look, circles are going to be created. Like I said, seeds are going to be put out there. Even if it's Gabrielle, Palak, and me, and maybe Gabriella comes in, good enough. That's a circle by itself. Let's just have our discussions, put it out there. And you have to help Susanna. Susanna is going to speak in Spanish and you'll have to help her in the translation. Yes, Susanna, how are you?
Hello, Vikram. Hello. ¿Cómo andan todos? Gracias. Thank you, Vikram, por invitarme. Saludos desde Argentina. Y estoy intentando entenderlos. Así que agradezco nuevamente.
One sec, Mr. Panchu, one sec. Yeah, you can talk, Susanna, also. It's okay. You can, Gabriel, you can tell her, you'll translate.
For now, Susanna is saying that she's really excited to be here, and thank you for inviting her.
That's it, Susanna. The more than that, you have to tell her that we're talking about the International Commercial Mediation Circle. What are her thoughts on that? Gabriel, please ask her.
Susana, hola. El Vikram quiere que cuentes un poquito más sobre el tema del círculo de mediación comercial.
Bueno, acá en Argentina estamos tratando que justamente la Convención de Singapur sea ley también en nuestro país. Actualmente Argentina no ha firmado la Convención de Singapur y la mediación solamente es en el orden local. Así que bueno, mi experiencia como mediadora es dentro del orden local, no internacional.
He's been a mediator just like in Argentina, but they are trying to get the Singapore Convention signed by Argentina. They haven't yet, so they are wishful that it will happen anytime soon.
Okay. Yeah. So
Sorry,
what
I'm
we
a
do is,
bad translator.
no, perfectly all right.
They
What
but
we have to
both
do
of
is,
them,
yeah, this got left out. I should have also discussed that the Singapore Convention before that. But before that, I have our young visitor here. Yes, how are you?
Good.
Haven't seen you for a long time. How have you been?
Good.
Good, not very good. And then we have our elderly visitor also, Mr. Panchu is also here. So look at that. Look at the difference, Mr. Panchu, where we have Ekta's daughter on one end and you on the other end. That's how mediation takes off and everyone's involved.
Sorry, if you're not withdrawing that phrase, elderly visitor, you withdraw with an apology, otherwise I'm leaving. Quick.
Man of wisdom, elderly is all good.
Are you okay? Bye, Vikram. Bye. See you then. See you next year. Bye.
Next, we need the white beard also, Mr. Panchu.
Am I getting a withdrawal and an apology or not? Plain and simple. Yes or
Okay,
no?
our young man of lots of wisdom. Okay, that's okay. And our elderly girl with lots of wisdom. Okay, perfectly all right. That sounds all right.
Don't bloody humbug me. Next time you do this, you're dead.
With a bunch of 70 plus, you are in a different category now.
I am in a different category by myself. I'm a class of one. Forget 70 plus. Yeah. Ramana doesn't think I'm 70 plus.
No, look, look, it's important. It's a landmark. The person that comes out after 70
okay,
plus.
you got into hot waters or just to be quiet. Chalo. Kya baat hai?
Okay, what we did was I started off telling everyone about
Hi, who's that girl next to you? That's my HPS friend.
Yes.
Hi, sweetie. You and I went to the same school.
Yeah.
That's a very old school.
No, and you be head boy, you be head girl when you pass out, right?
I'll try.
You try. No, just say I'll be. Then you'll be.
I'll be head girl.
That's all. That's all there is to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Affirmation. Yes, Vikram sir.
So what we basically what I did was my thought behind the World Mediation Circle is what I discussed, and I was just taking everyone's thought on that.
Okay.
And broadly, I mean, of course, you know about it. I've discussed it enough. Idea being creating circles in schools, colleges, communities, organizations,
Okay.
and then various. I mean, we have issues, we have identity based, whatever. We'll keep creating circles. So the International Commercial Mediation Circle is one of those circles. And global, the International Commercial Mediation Circle goes down to the local level. We at every, I mean, you can have a small circle in a business community in one part of India or in Ecuador or wherever. So let's just put this seed out there. So I was just saying.
Do you have any objections if I have a drink while I'm talking?
No problem at all. Be perfectly all right. Everyone else, please have your drinks.
Yeah, you should be circulating some wine, Vikram, to all your participants.
I know. I actually should send it out first.
You should send it out first. Yeah.
Ekta had done this once for for Nina's birthday. She had sent out. You did that, Ekta? At some time sent that whole thing out to everyone, and everyone then opened those packets together and they celebrated during COVID.
Yeah, some nice Indian wine.
I also sent you coffee that you could have while on the show. But
I know.
But you just sent to him, is it not to his star performers?
So that time, those hardly, this was COVID time. So they were invariably we used to have these late night conversations. So
all right. Okay. So Vikram, do you want me to give my gyan?
Before that, what I want to put out there, and I put out that before you came in, is that first of all, what is mediation to everyone seems to be different. For me, because I have put it out there on my website also, I put it out that humanistic approach, heart, soul, spirituality, which you've heard enough of me saying that. So that aspect of mediation, I put out the definition of mediation that I am putting out there. It's a little different from the Singapore Convention because the words trusted, voluntary, informal were removed from there because of the aspect, the way mediation has gone in relation to the court system and all. But that's all right for those people. For me, this is what mediation is: informal, voluntary, someone trusted by you. That, but please, your Gyan.
Okay, by Gyan, don't
Gyan,
bring
let me tell people, Gyan is
Yeah.
knowledge. Okay.
don't bring too much of this touchy feeling, you know, heart business into commercial mediation. At the end of the day, it's about, you know, facts, figures, numbers. True, there is a lot of emotion. There is a lot of emotion at the table. There are relationships. There are things which have gone wrong at a personal level. But very, very hard focus needs to be maintained on the facts, on the run-up to the dispute, on the law pertaining to it. You know, what kind of an industry this is, what are the implications, what's going to happen to these guys if they don't settle in hard numbers.
That's
And where do they actually stand? What are their grim alternatives to settlement? What are the weaknesses in their case? Where do their long-term business interests lie? So there's a lot of hard talk in commercial mediation. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two, I think it's a good idea to create a circle of people who do commercial mediations worldwide. It's a good idea to create a circle. I get a call from somebody, you know, who's in France saying, I'm stuck in a problem. Who do you suggest? And I don't know who to suggest. But if you have somebody, you know, you've been on your show, who's a good commercial mediator, I can say, well, try this person. I can't recommend, I don't know, but try. This person's come onto a show which is run by a good friend, so that must mean something, so try. I think you should create a directory of commercial mediators, okay, across the globe. And maybe in that directory, they put down, this is my area of specialization, this is my experience, these are some of the cases I've handled. I'm doing hard talk, you know, brass tacks, number two. Number three, I think success stories are important. We have not captured the world. We are an outlier in many places. We are entering the landscape in some, and we are making our way through the landscape in others. But we face very heavy opposition in terms of an entrenched litigation and adversarial system and culture. And they are deep-rooted, and they are moneyed, and they will not give up so easily. So it's fine for us to come in as outliers. You know, people are, you know, generally kind of, you know, with some kind of a dismissive humor. These mediation fellows, we'll tolerate them for some time. How long will they last? They're not going to do very much kind of thing. The more we become entering into the dominant sphere, and the more we get, I'm so sorry. I'll switch it off now. The more we get center stage, the more the opposition is going to come. The only way we can beat it is not by convincing lawyers that we are great guys or by convincing judges. We have to convince the users that, boss, it makes supreme commercial sense for you to come to us. Why? Tick off your boxes. What are your boxes? Time, cost, participation and control, no risk, practical solution, enforcement, maintenance of relationships. These are all the 7 boxes that industry has. All 7 boxes are destroyed by litigation or arbitration. We are here, we respect these boxes. They are our mantra, our code, our belief system. Business, therefore, in its code and belief system, is an ally for us. We are an ally for business in getting them resolution, ticking off all the boxes. We need to get that message out, and it's not enough just to give this, you know, this philosophical message. We need to bombard them with success stories, actual real life success stories, because they are hard nuts, these fellows. Aditya, they are hard nuts. They will not accept a newspaper article or some fancy, you know, language that they see. But they will accept real life stories, which we can put out, and we can say, look, we have concealed certain names, but if you really want to know, we can put you in touch with one of the parties who's willing to confirm that, yes, this happened. Every one of these stories can be confirmed. That is, I think, the way to go. We have to get the users. Number one. Number two, we have to catch the lawyers and the law firms. The only way to catch them is not by preaching to them that, boys, you know, you would have a better place in heaven if you promote mediation. Won't work. In the any case, doomed for hell, nothing is going to make them go to heaven. But we have to tell them, we can structure your payment system in such a way that mediation is an incentive. We can incentivize you in the mediation process. How? By making sure that you're not paid for the per hearing. You see, lawyers are scared of mediation. Why? Because they are used to charging per hearing. And that works wonderfully if you're in litigation and arbitration. Hearings will go on and on and on. You charge per hearing, you made your millions. Mediation, we are touting it, saying you can finish in 3, 4, 5, 6 sessions. Which lawyer will be happy with this? So we change the structure. We tell lawyers and parties and judges that we are advocating for mediation, a consolidated settlement fee. You know what I do for major mediations? I take the CEO aside and I say, look, I don't want to run a mediation where your lawyer thinks it's against his interests if you settle it. Your bloody legal fees are a fraction of your total stakes. Please incentivize them. Do what is being done, you know, in some places abroad. The CEO talks to the head of the law firm and says, look, how much will it cost me if you take me to trial? And the guy says, 100 million, whatever he says. And the CEO then says, if you get me a settlement, I will give you 33%, up right front on the table. For the law firm, it's money for jam. He's taking a client to a settlement in a matter of weeks. He gets his 33%. Money which he, you know, the money which he might turn over 10 years, God only knows, but the client will stay his client. After one defeat, the client may move elsewhere. Look at the amount of money and effort he has to put in to get that settlement. He gets money for jam over here, he's paying a subsidiary role and he gets 33%. And he can devote his time to other cases. And for the CEO, what does that lawyer's fee matter here? It is a fractional portion of his claim. So align the incentives of the lawyer for settlement. Similarly, let us focus on the fact that good mediators must be paid well. And let's make that a creed. Mediation is not charity. It is not substandard payment. It is not honorarium. It deserves no less than what I charge as a mediator. I charge what I charge as a senior advocate. Same fee. No distinction. You pay for my time. We should encourage that. Clients have no problem in commercial mediation of paying mediators fees because they are seeing results. They know that in 2 to 4 to 5 to 6 sessions, the matter will be over and done with. Nobody is wasting time reading pleadings at the table, adjourning cases. Mediators hit the ground running. You know, so clients see the movement, they see activity, they see participation, they see a forward movement. They're happy to pay. No client is ever bothered about a mediator's fee. Not one client has ever bargained with me about a fee, saying, sir, can you reduce your fee? Never happened to me. But the other thing is, we need to get, you know, extra efficient. We can't go into a mediation and say, oh, you know, what is this case all about? If you want to do a commercial mediation, no. You must tell parties, send me your note in advance. A 5-page, no, I don't want to write pleadings. I want a 5-page note from each of you, exchange with each other. And then be available for conversations with me, with the parties, with the counsel, individually, separately, mix and match, everything. But I will build you into a state of readiness for your first session. So that I normally, for complex cases, fix a 2-day session. I tell them 2 whole days. Don't come and say, I have to go to court, I'm my grandfather's student, my mother's, there's nothing. 2 whole days in court. And not with me as mediator. So I like to take them off to a place away from their usual place, so that they are not distracted. 2 whole days. But you've done your preparation. So you hit the ground running. By the time you reach 12 o'clock, the preliminaries are over and it's like, what are your offers? Let's clear some things at the table, discuss that. But 12 o'clock, what are your offers? They are ready. They are business people. Yeah, they're sharp people. They know what they want, what they'll give up, what they won't, what the bottom line is. And once you get them there, by afternoon, they are at it. Post lunch, they're actively discussing things. 2 days is really all you need for even major cases. And my rule is this: you will either settle in 2 days, or you are so far apart that you will never settle in mediation, or you've come close and 1 more day is worth it. Cases, if you see, you have to use time. If you put the pressure on time, if there is an incentive to settle, and that incentive you must build in your pre-mediation discussions, pre-session discussions, you create the incentive. If they come to the table with that incentive, then you pressurize them with time. Because the normal tendency of people is not to take a decision. We'll come back, we'll talk to our board, we'll think about it. No, I'm sorry, this is a 2-day time limit. I've given you enough warning, I've prepared you. You were supposed to come to the table with your options and settlement figures. Come on, let's get at it. Then they'll buckle down. You give them a 2-day time limit, they'll buckle down. Can I tell you a story?
Yes, please. That's what you're looking for.
2006. I started India's first court annex mediation center in the Madras High Court in 2005. In 2006, we had a humongous dispute referred to us. A company called Standard Motors, which had manufactured cars, very nice cars. It was a herald. It was like the English Triumph. Unfortunately, they closed down, went to bankruptcy. And in 1994, their plants and assets have been sold. 50 crores have been realized. Now, I don't know how to explain to your audience what 50 crores is. But it was a very big amount in those days.
Yeah, it's about, I mean, it comes out about $5 million. It comes to $5 million.
Yeah, whatever. But that those days it was a huge amount. Now it's not. 50 crores have been realized. But the banks had claimed the entire 50 crores because they'd given loans and interest had mounted. The workers were claiming 25 crores. And in Indian law, banks and workers have the same rating, pari passu interest. So the money never got distributed. It lay in official custody. And this dispute went on for 12 years. And in 2006, a High Court judge said, we have this new thing called mediation, let's try it. So they sent it out to mediation. I was the mediator. On the 15th of September 2006, I sat down with 6 bankers. They were a consortium. And I used the phrase I love the most. I said, gentlemen, let's get to brass tacks. If you continue to fight, you will not get your money for 12 years. By the time the law may well change and the workers will get a preference, and then you're out, you get zilch. I know that 30th September is when you have your half-year book closing. If you bring 50 to 30, I will see that you get your money by 30th September. So they said, yes, sir, very nice, sir, very nice. Give us 2 weeks, sir, we'll talk to a chairman. I said, you have exactly half an hour. You should have heard 6 bankers squeal. How can you do this to us? I said, you have half an hour. I will close if you do not come back in half an hour. They all squeal, I went out of the room, I smoked a cigarette, I had a cup of tea. 20 minutes, they called me back. Sir, we've spoken to our chairman. Our chairman wants to know, are you promising? And I, with the bravado of somebody who had nearly 50 crores in my pocket, I said, of course I'm promising. Why would I tell you otherwise? So they said, all right, sir, we're in. It made sense for them. 30 crores, they would make 60 crores the next year as bankers. They know how to roll over money. I told them that. I said, don't bloody play the fiddle with me. I know how you fellows would roll over money. If I give you 30 crores now, we'll have 60 crores next year. But for that, you must talk, with some domain knowledge, with some expertise. Anyway, I called the union the next year and I said, look, I'm only telling you from 25, you come to 20. So they said, no problem. So I agreed. We had an agreement signed the day after. I took it to and there's an interesting story. We took it to the, my life is full of stories only. When I write my memoirs, it's going to be all stories.
That's what we want from the 70 plus.
Yeah. So I took it to the Chief Justice and I said, we have this settlement. It is important not just because of 50 crores. It is important because it is going to benefit 2,196 workers and their families. I still remember the figure. They have been waiting for 12 years for their money. So the chief said, we have to have a big function. Let's make a big thing out of it. 30th September was announced for the function for him to personally give the checks. On the 27th of September, the official assignee who's in charge of these funds comes to me and says, I've invested this money in railway bonds. They are redeemable after 7 years. I don't have the money. So I went to the Chief Justice and said, you will have egg on your face. And mediation in India is ruined if we don't go through with this function, which we've announced. The Chief Justice called him and said, you will lose your job. I don't care which account you pilfer from the many accounts you have. I want the bloody money. Next day, the fellow turned up with the money, 50 crores. We sat down, we got the names of every worker or his legal heirs because some had passed away. My guys wrote out the checks for each one of those. We had a lovely function. We gave them tea and snacks. They all lined up to get their checks from the Chief Justice. It went well beyond time, so we had to order biryani for everybody, which we did. The function went on from 5 to 9. Everybody came. All the workers got their checks, and then the bankers lined up and they got their 30 crores. And it was a great day. It was a great day. Next morning, the bankers come to see me and they say, how much can we pay? How much should we pay you? So I said, I don't know, you can't pay me anything. We don't have any system for payment. They said, are you bad, sir? You've given us 30 crores and you're saying we shouldn't pay you anything? I said, look here, nobody's asked me this question before. And we don't have a system. We are an official. We haven't developed a system of payment. So I said, we need a water cooler. You can buy us a water cooler. They thought I was nuts. They came back the next day with a water cooler and a check for 30 lakhs. And that was our first ever income for the mediation center with, So it's time. That wouldn't have settled, but for the fact I told them, I want an answer now. Yes or no, I don't care. Give me a no, I'll send it back to court. Sit there for another 12 years. Who cares? Press for time, they will come up. So it is preparation and the pressure of time. That's my experience. Plus, the mediator, I think, should play a role in thinking of solutions. I create a fishbowl for every mediation. I tell people, anonymously put your suggestions in that fishbowl. Don't sign. I find parties putting it there, lawyers will put, the lawyers junior will surreptitiously put, and let me tell you, I also put my own suggestions. And then we assemble all the suggestions, put it on one big sheet of paper, and then we start taking out what seems more feasible. So every time I come up to them with an option for solution, I'm like, look, guys, this has come from you. I'm just sorting it out. This looks like we could discuss this first, failing which this, failing which this. These are the elements. These are all your suggestions. They will not accept anything coming from an external source. But you tell them this is what has come from your minds. They're very happy. This is our decision. And once they get into the game of options, I tell you, you're home. You're home. Once they make good options, you're home, because then they are attacking the problem. Why? Occasionally, you have to tell them, look here, we don't settle, you know what awaits you. Go through the bloody furnace if you want, lie on cold ice if you want, you know what awaits you. Of course, there's this thing about handling lawyers well, bringing them into it and pandering to their little egos, but also being tough with them. When lawyers give their clients excessive, expectations, I sit the lawyer and the client apart. And I'd ask the lawyer, look here, I'm a senior advocate, 47 years of practice. Are you seriously telling me you're going to win this point? He folds his hand and says, no, sir, let's not discuss this, sir. I don't think I was right, sir. So, but you have to read that case. You have to tell him, sorry, there's a precedent against you. It's not going to work. And the minute you tell that lawyer in the front of the client that, you may not have such a great case, that client devalues his expectations. Then he's like, I'm not shooting for 100, boss, I might lose this case, I'll take 50. So it's a skill, it's an art, it's a craft, it's a training, it's a discipline. The commercial mediations are my forte. I don't do personal matters, I don't do matrimonial, I'm zero at it. But I love commercial because it's a wonderful mix of facts and figures and statistics and concrete, hard information, plus relationships. I'll close with one story. I had a mediation years back. A father and son were running a big business. I'm so sorry if I'm talking a lot, you guys.
No, this is what we need. That's why you are launching the circle. We need these stories. It's
So
nice.
years back, a big business empire in South India, father and son came to me and said, sir, we have decided to separate. That is not for you to mediate. We're coming to you only to mediate the division of assets because we have some conflict on that. That's okay. So I sat with them, I sat with the lawyers, I had one meeting with the father. Something in the air I picked up. And mediators, I think, must pick up something in the air. Because either in the air or God is telling it to you. I believe in God, please. So I know that God sends messages. I'm a very firm believer. So I told the father, and you must be willing to be outspoken. Don't keep anything inside. I told the father, I said, you're not telling me something. He was much younger than you, much older than me. But I'm a mediator. I said, you're not telling me something. You know what he said? He said, my son never said sorry. What's this? It's not in the pleadings, not anywhere. Nobody's mentioned it in the conversation, son not saying sorry. So I told the lawyer, go to the room. And I asked the father, I said, what is this about? And then I was kind, I was sympathetic. He said, sir, I have very humble roots. I built this company from scratch along with my closest friends. We are all from humble roots. I sent my boy to Wharton to be educated. He came back with an MBA degree. I made him join the board. We were discussing a proposal in the board meeting, and he said, this is very old-fashioned. You people don't know anything about this. You should learn new ways of doing things. He said, sir, he insulted me in front of my friends. He insulted all of us. And he never said sorry. So I said, is this from where these problems began? And he said, yes. So I asked him to wait. I called the boy. And I said, do you remember, you came back and there was a board meeting. Tell me about it. And he said, yes, sir, there was a board meeting and they had some proposal which was not really feasible these days. Some modern methods don't permit it. So I said, yeah, you said your piece, but do you know that you said it in a manner that offended your father's feelings? There are ways of saying things. You can put it in a kind of a more neutral way, but perhaps in your enthusiasm, you said it in a way which offended your father's feelings. He said, sir, I did not realize that. My father never said anything. I didn't realize it. So I said, I have a simple question to you. Are you willing to say sorry to your father? He said, of course, sir. I never meant to hurt him. Of course, I'll say sorry to him. I then did something which I never do. I put both the parties in the room and I left the room. I never do that. I always have to keep control and make sure nothing goes wrong. I took that risk. I brought the father back and I said, I think you two have something to talk about. I'm leaving the room. Call me when you're done. They called me back in 20 minutes. You know what they said? They said, sir, thank you very much, but we don't need your services. We have decided not to separate. Just send us your bill and make it a fat bill. I say, of course, commercial mediation is about, money and, hard stuff and facts and account sheets and, balance sheets and all that. But it's a hell of a lot about emotions. It's a hell of a lot. And as much as you be a commercial mediator, you have to be alive for those emotions. and the way you treat people with equality. Doesn't matter what their status. And sometimes you have to bring down that big fellow because he's throwing his weight in the room. And he thinks he can throw his weight on you. So you have to learn to cut him, but cut him at the beginning. Cutting him later is more difficult. Slice him in the beginning, put him in his place, be tough with him, then he'll know, okay, I can't play the fool with this mediator. And you pick it up over time, you pick up these things. I would love to do a teaching course, just to talk about these kind of things.
That's just what I told you, that skill development program. That's what it's about. But for some reason,
we'll talk about that later. I have some ideas. We'll talk about that later.
you just don't like me. That's the problem. And I will tell people why you don't like me.
I've come on 25 of your shows and you say I don't like you.
I will tell people why you don't like me. But my story with Mr. Panchu, I have to talk about that because you started off with this thing.
I'm done. I'll listen for 15 minutes. I'll listen and be with you guys and have my drink.
No, look, our story also has to be out there.
I'm here to listen.
We co-mediated a matter which was complex, 14 years of litigation, arbitral award, gone into the
that was a good one.
challenge.
So
it's a very good story. And why I would
tell them. Yeah.
Basically, this is what the situation was. 14 years of litigation, there was an arbitral award, which was challenged. It was lying in the High Court. The award was challenged. And I had approached this person who I knew and I said, try mediation. And he said, okay, this complex matter he thought is never going to be settled. He said, but let's try it with that. Not an issue. I said, no problem at all. And this is where the aspect of getting an elderly person in is also very helpful. I got Mr. Panchu.
No. You got me in because I was mediating India's biggest dispute between Hindus and Muslims.
I got you for the person you are.
No, one sec. The Mandir Masjid dispute. Ayodhya. The Ram Mandir Babri Masjid, Ram Janamabhoomi Babri Masjid dispute. I was mediating that. Okay. And those parties agreed to come because you said he's the one who's mediated that dispute. And they were like, Jai Sriram, of course we'll come.
That's okay. You have to be used. You have to use your position.
Don't screw me on this age business. I won't like it.
Okay, so basically, I got Mr. Panchu in because I still tell people that this is important when you get someone of that stature, the way he puts it across and how he as a sounding board when he's available is very good, and balance it out where bring him in when you have for certain meetings, but do the other meetings so that his time is not put into it, so the cost of mediation doesn't go up. So basically we did that mediation, but you were talking about the heart, soul, spirituality, touchy feeling.
So let me finish that story. Let me finish your story.
Okay. So
Vikram did all the work. He did all the work. He was the one who spoke to these respective parties, did all this thing. He would just come to me and say, boss, I've come to this stage. Now, this is where you need to do the heavy hitting. He just used me.
Yes.
He used me. He just said, this is where you need to do the heavy hitting. And he virtually used me as the big bully, which I performed to everybody's satisfaction. I was the big bully. I played hell in the room, told everybody where they got off and where they would go if they didn't succeed, if they didn't settle. I can play big bully, no problem. But he used me, this fellow used me.
Look, that was really a role which was required in that situation. So, but when you spoke about success stories, I actually have put it out there. Gaurav's, I've had a session with him.
Yeah, Gaurav has done. Yeah.
So I've recorded that. It's on my YouTube channel of him talking about it. The important thing which he said in that little discussion that we had was that, Vikram, you brought in the human touch. And I really liked that. You're saying commercial matter, my millions of dollars at stake, but he still found that to be an important aspect of it because one person was so entrenched in the whole issue that the human touch was important. So, and I met Amrish today. He was here. That connected matter which came up. So I met him. He's come to Delhi in connection with that.
I tell you, this Vikram, no, he's got that human touch so much. He can take a bloody boulder and he can make it cry.
I don't know. I feel that's a nice thing that you said. I hope everyone thinks it's a nice thing. So success story, I put it out there. Human touch aspect, I highlight. I'm telling you that's really important.
Vikram, about 10 minutes, I'll have to leave.
Yeah. Then you spoke about the directory part of it. The whole idea of putting it out exactly is this. The circle is all the people that I identify. And interestingly, I mean, of course, we had this in part of our law also, but the ancestral model law talks about, let me put it up there. It says you can a party may request such an institution or person. I'm saying I'm that person. If you have an issue, whatever, come, I'll find the right person for the kind of matter. And look, people are good. They're
No,
going to be
and
people.
that is a very important thing, Vikram. To advise parties on who is a good mediator for you is a very, very important thing. Maybe that should become a specialist kind of, one should, I think, give that some prominence.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, people don't know. I don't see in the medical field, there is lots of information. So and so is a good specialist for this. So and go to that, for that, go to so and so. There is a lot of information circling. In mediation, I give you a great idea. In mediation, there is no information. So there's somebody who says, I can tailor your dispute to appropriate mediator. I think it's a huge damn service, and I think it is a service people will pay for.
Yeah. This is exactly how I want to do it.
No, I never thought about this. But this is a great idea. That an advisory service to help parties select their best mediator. Sometimes parties think, this one is unapproachable. This one can't do it. But now you have online.
Exactly.
You can go to anybody, a party in Punjab, can go to somebody in Karnataka and say, please mediate my case. So, but to select the right person, Vikram, I think you've hit a jackpot over here. If you start something which says, I will help you select the appropriate mediator, and maybe structure an initial conversation so that the party feels comfortable with this mediator, I think you've creamed it.
Yeah, exactly. This is what the thought is.
All the profits you earn on this, give me 10%.
Perfect, Mr. Panchu, sure.
Yeah.
No issue at all. But the online part that you mentioned right now, that's also important to put out there. Commercial matter, the matter that we did, millions of dollars at stake, but everything online. You were sitting in Chennai, I'm sitting in Delhi, 2 people sitting in Bombay, 2 people sitting in Gujarat, 1 person sitting in US. We did all that. No physical aspect of it at all.
Let me give you this online instance. I get a call on Sunday night at 8:45 from somebody saying, sir, I'm the local Indian manager, the Indian head of a big construction company. We have a major project in Pune. We are a foreign company. I'm the local head. And there's the Indian company on the other side. And sir, this whole thing is going kaput because of a dispute which has emerged. I've been given your name by somebody senior in the ministry because the ministry wants to avoid this problem. Can you help? I said, okay, it's 8:45. 9:45, get everybody on a call. So he got everybody on a Zoom. 9:45, I spoke to them. Till 11:30, 12, they were telling me what the problem was. And all I said was, gentlemen, hold your horses for 3 days. I'm giving you 2 days time. By Tuesday evening, give me this 5-page. No, I will not read anything more than 5 pages. 5-page note each of you. Let us assemble on Wednesday. And I want to note on these lines, what are the facts, what are the issues, what's missing, etc. And I said, because of paucity of time, I also want you to give me your confidential ideas on settlement. So I got that by Tuesday evening. We had a first session on Wednesday. By Friday, and it was intensive, hard work. It took whole of, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They were at batches. By Friday evening, they knew where they were settling. They spent Saturday drafting the agreement and signed it. On Sunday evening, I get a call from the CEO of the company from England or America or wherever. He said, Mr. Panchu, I cannot believe my eyes and ears. It would have taken me this long just to brief my lawyers to start a court case. And you have finished this whole matter for us in that space of time. But not only that, you have put us back on the rails. The project is back on stream. He said, I cannot start to thank you for this, which I could not have done but for online. Online is magic for mediation. This is what will take us to the top. Court cases don't work online. Arbitration doesn't work online. Mediation is all about personal discussions, and it works brilliantly online because online you're crisp, you're sharp, you get to the point. There's no fluffing around, pleasantries. Oh, you've come from Jalandhar, how's the weather over there? That kind of thing. You're like on work. Yeah, okay, we've done this. Tomorrow we'll discuss this. Be ready, close. It's brilliant, yeah, for us. It is going to be, I tell you, the killer thing for us. Sorry, again, I'm talking. I said I'll keep quiet.
No, this is important to put out there. What you just, this success story that you put out, that's exactly what we have to put out there, that it doesn't matter. Commercial matters. I mean, everything, high stakes, doesn't matter. Everything can be done online.
Especially for commercial, online works well. It won't work well for, matrimonial disputes. They have to have the feel of the room and, the person looking, etc. But it works brilliantly for commercial disputes, really.
So when I launch the International Family Mediation Circle, we'll have that discussion.
Don't draw me in that. I am a zero in that.
That's what to come up.
I hate it because I don't like kids being involved. It breaks my heart.
Okay. But what we did not discuss, Mr. Panchu, is the Singapore Convention. Little thoughts, Stuart, you want to put out there on the Singapore
Convention is an overrated bloody convention. Singapore thinks that because they've created a convention, they've laid the foundation for world mediation. All humbug. How many mediations ever require enforcement? I've done 30 years of mediation. Not in one case has anybody gone to court for enforcement. Why will a party seek enforcement? They both agree to something in their common interest. They go about enforcing it. I've done hundreds of cases. Not one case has ever gone to court with a party seeking enforcement. So they're hyping it a bit, we have created this convention and therefore we have laid the great foundation mediation. I'm sorry, I think that's all humbug. It's far too big. Okay, there is some value to an enforcement convention, but mediation doesn't need it really. And okay, some people have signed the convention, some haven't, but what does it matter? Any country can incorporate in its home rules that if you have a foreign mediation conducted abroad, and it meets these criteria, we will enforce it. So whether you sign the convention, don't sign the convention, frankly, I don't think it matters at all.
No, I think the domestic legislation needs to be discussed in relation to that.
You are joining some elite club if you sign the Singapore Convention, all bullshit. India has not yet ratified the convention, maybe India will not. We will just pass our own laws. And if we have a foreign mediator from abroad, conducted abroad, and if it satisfies these criteria. And mind you, the Singapore Convention in some places very awkwardly drafted. I don't want to make comments, but it's a bit of a scratch. It makes me scratch my head every time I see the damn thing. We'll farm our own simple law. We have a mediation conducted by a mediator like this. If you follow these procedures, the parties have signed it. It will be whatever witness, notarized, etc., etc. We'll enforce it. Simple. It's not such a big deal.
Yeah, no, I think the point is that this whole thing about international domestic mediation, that has to go away. It should be a simple aspect. You have got into a mediation, you resolve your dispute, that should be enforceable.
Yeah. So long as there's no coercion, no force, no compulsion, the mediator did not misrepresent something. The mediator did not force parties to settle. People settled with adequate knowledge of what they were doing. What would enforce it? Our law is like that.
Yeah, it should be
no big deal. Convention, no convention. It's not a big problem for us.
So basically, the law itself should be simple in every country in relation to mediation.
Simple. Yeah. Every law should be simple. It should be simple.
Yeah. So we won't discuss our law, but the complex part of it. Right now, it's simple, and that's. I mean, of course, we have a
simple bill. Because of me. It's simple because of me.
No, not the one that you got into. I'm not going to get into the bill. No, the law that we have today is conciliation.
I agree. The bill has flaws because we can only come up to a certain stage. After that, the law ministry takes over. But every one of those flaws, I told them, please look here, this is a flaw. Correct it.
So today, I'm saying that the fact that in terms of domestic legislation on central model law available, please look at that.
This fellow he wants to stick to that conciliation. He's one historically, he's a dinosaur. He still wants conciliation.
You can call it whatever.
I'm off now. I have to get back to the family. It's nice chat. I can't even say chatting with you guys because I've been bloody speaking my head off.
But at least, Mr. Panchu, meet everyone. At least,
Yeah, please. Can
everyone.
Can everyone please introduce themselves so
Yeah.
that I get to know you?
I'll have to start with the
No,
person who came in first. Like Gabriel came in first.
Please.
Gabriel, please.
But I would
let me also
I would
introduce.
like them to introduce themselves.
Yeah, they will.
Say
What I'm
something.
going to tell you, Gabriel will not tell you that, but basically she's from Ecuador, and Ecuador has done great work in relation to government matters, insolvency matters. They've actually experienced it, and they don't have mandatory mediation in the courts, and they're doing very well in relation to mediation. So, Gabriel, tell her that. Tell him that.
You please finish. I'd like to hear you. Then I have a request to make after you finish.
Yes, Gabriel.
Hi. So do you want me to tell him the experience in Ecuador with government?
Introduce
mediation,
yourself,
right?
Gabriel. Say nice. Say hi to him. Smile. Whatever. Don't get so serious.
Just tell me about yourself. Tell me about
Senior,
yourself.
but
Tell me about yourself.
I've been enjoying very much listening to you and your experience. Thank you very much for sharing. My name is Maria Gabriela Muñoz Crespo. They call me Gabrie, which I think it's really easier when we are from all around the world. So Gabrie, it's okay. I'm a full-time mediator since 2011. And most of the time I've been working in state, like institutions from the state mediations. That was for about like 8 and something, a little bit more years. It was for me really interesting because when I started mediating, I thought I was going to spend all my time with about like family mediations. I always wanted to work with the schools, so that was in my bucket list. But then destiny, or whatever you want to call it, took me to mediate with the state. So and it was really wonderful because sometimes we think that we can experience this resolution way just in family or with friends. But when you have the state and institutions and a lot of people that depend on that agreement, it's really satisfactory too, to see how public institutions sit down and talk. It's really challenging for me. I don't know how it is for all in other places, but in Ecuador it's challenging because people that work in public institutions get paid monthly, right? So they don't have this thing that we have to solve this, because for them it doesn't matter if the problem is solved or not. They're going to get their paycheck and they keep living, right? So you have to really make it make an effort to make them realize that they are the people in that moment that have to make decisions as public.
Gabriel, Mr. Panchu's fingers are up. He wants to say something.
I have a request for you. We have a problem in India with getting the state to mediate, not because of what you said that, you know, they get their paychecks, they don't give a damn, but because our officers are scared. See, any mediator, you give up something to get something more. But our officers are scared that if they give up something, they will be targeted for prosecution, investigation, and harassment later when, you know, another political party comes to power. That is our big problem. I would really appreciate it if you could send to me a note through Vikram, which outlines, you know, the kind of work that you've been doing, and whether government mediation is accepted in your country and why you think it's got accepted, and the kind of cases where it's been used and whether it's widespread. If you could make a note and send it to me, I'd be really grateful.
Yeah, of course. But because we're talking right now, it's an issue here too.
Okay.
But most of the times in our experience, the public institution doesn't make a concession. Most of the time, the mediation is to make them do what they already had to, but some way got stuck.
No,
For
what
example,
we'll do, Gabriel, what we'll do is we'll have
in a commercial matter, you know, there's got to be, see, they will always have a very exaggerated claim. And it makes sense for them to settle below that claim. Everybody knows it. But then they are settling below the claim made in court. And the officer is scared, saying, sir, I have asked for the principal plus 24% interest. You are asking me to settle for 18% interest. I know that is fair. Tomorrow, I don't want to be taken to by the police by saying, why did you give up 6% interest? You've taken a bribe. That's our problem.
what's coming up, Mr. Panchu, is the government mediation circle. When we launch that, we'll get all these people who have worked with the government. We'll get them there. But before that, Gabriel is going to send us.
Why don't you get one political leaders mediation circle going, man? Modi, Joe Biden, get them.
We'll have a G20 mediation
Yeah, at the
circle.
rate at which we're going, that's going to happen one day.
All that is going to happen. So, no, but look, I introduced you to Luis and Ivan from Ecuador on those projects, these mining projects. So they're doing interesting work in Ecuador.
I remember. Who's she here?
No.
No. Okay. So let's meet. Let's meet
Yes,
some more because
let's meet Michelle, because Michelle is also coming on my show in Conversation with a Beautiful Mind on her birthday, which is coming up at the end of September. Yes, Michelle, you want to say hi to Mr. Panchu?
I certainly do want to say hi. I think that everything that he said was so important and powerful and needed to touch on. One of the things that I've always thought about is the purpose of separating like the strengths that different mediators have. So just like he mentioned, you have directories for hospital, you specialize, you have a cardiologist, a ophthalmologist, etc. I think that we also need to have great specifics and a directory and someone that can assist with saying this mediator is perfect for your particular situation. I mean, I've been trained in all different situations or all different types of, I guess, challenges that one could consider, but it's nothing like my specialty is, I think, particularly working in the inner cities and the communities. That's my thing.
Okay.
But I'm not the one to work with. I could do the family mediations, but I'm like you. I hate seeing children go through things.
Yeah.
And that's just something that's been in me all my life. I used to work in the medical field. I remember they pulled me down to the peds ER, and all I see is all of these kids, the abuse and the pain.
Right.
I'm not of service if my heart is so broken.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing. Same thing. Yeah.
I want to help. It's not you don't want to help, but it's like you just can't.
I can't do it. Yeah, you can't do it. Can't do it.
I mean, exactly like you.
Michelle, where are you in the States?
I am right now. I'm in Los Angeles, but I go back and forth between Baltimore, Maryland, and Los Angeles.
Michelle, I'm coming to your part of the world.
Which part? Baltimore.
There is a college just out of Los Angeles called Claremont McKenna.
Okay.
They've invited me to come for a sabbatical February through May next year. So I'm going to spend 3 months writing my big mediation, writing a border dispute mediation, which I did between 2 states in India, and writing my memoirs. So I'm going there for 3 months. It'd be great to catch up with you.
I would love that. I think that you have so much to offer and you give insight and you speak so well. You just talk about everything, the things that may be in people's mind, but they don't say. They may not want to admit. Everyone's not going to say, well, I can't do this. I can't do this. Everyone wants, I'm the mediator. I could do it all. You can't do it all.
In India, I'm called the Maverick, the master of plain speak and the Maverick.
That's why he's here.
I love it. Okay, can I get myself a small refill, guys?
Please.
All right.
And let me tell people that Michelle's episode is going to be really interesting. She's going to speak from the heart. She's going to bare her soul. It's going to be really. No, I'm looking forward to it, Michelle. It's going to be interesting. And of course, I'm not going to get anyone else in right now because everyone has to be introduced to Mr. Panchu. But hi, Erin. How are you? Haven't seen you for a long time.
I'm doing well, thank you. I have my business up and going finally, and it's been a lot of work. I've been very busy. So, how are you?
Good, relaxed, not doing too many events, only launching mediation circles now. So you just heard now the USA mediation circle is going to be developed, and then if Mr. Panchu goes there, you people can have a USA mediation circle meeting.
Wonderful, that would be wonderful. Love it.
So it's all about circles. Seville is going to do something in Turkey, but she's still thinking. She's one of those she puts everything in place kind of person. So she's taking her time, but what she develops is going to be nice and perfect structure. Basically, the difference is I'm not into the structure thing, and Seville is into the structure. Yes, Mr. Panchu.
Sorry, Michelle, can you just see my name there, Sriram Panchu?
Yes, I can see it.
So just
Yes.
drop me an email, srirampanchu@gmail.com,
Okay.
so that I get your contacts and I'll just send you mine, and then I'll get in touch with you when I come there.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, cool. Right. Sounds good.
And there'll be lots of USA mediation circle people you'll meet there. We'll fix that up.
Okay.
But let's get Erin, because I'm telling you some interesting things that, of course, Erin is doing trauma-informed mediation. So please tell him, Erin, what is trauma-informed mediation and a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I work with people who are hurting and going through a lot of pain in their history and currently, and I kind of help them see the patterns that they're going through during the mediation as much as I can. And I take an approach of a whole person approach to a mediation and really consider, does this person require someone from the mental health field to help us go through this mediation? And if so, is this mediation, can we actually do it? And so I like to just really make sure that the state of mind that the people I'm working with, that they're in is a healthy state of mind, that they can walk through the conflict that they're in with value and with their dignity in the end, and being able to stand up to the other side who may be suppressing them or scaring them, or this might be their chance to really dig their heels in and stand up for themselves and do what's needed. So I like to be there helping support that, and that type of mediation, so that I can help each side really see and feel what's going on. And
that's amazing.
Thank you.
I'm one of these hard-bitten lawyers. I practiced law for 47 years. I still practice. I go to court. I'm a senior advocate. I mediate a hell of a lot. But as hard-bitten lawyers, we tend to focus on, the hard facts.
Yeah.
So it's really an eye-opener to come across somebody like this who pays so much attention to feelings and emotions and pain and suffering. So I doff my hat off to you.
Thank you. And I support people through family law, and special education law, social services, those types of platforms as an advocate as well. And so what I really like to do is train police officers, train community members, train individuals, train organizations on mental health and the importance of communication through mental health, and how to help people get into a state of mind where they are capable of walking through their conflicts.
Where are you based in the US?
I'm in California, in Northern California, and
why don't you also drop me a mail, because my cousin sisters in California, I'm going to come and visit there. So
yeah, that would be lovely.
Mr. Panchu, what I'm going to do, I'll put a post out there. Everyone who's in the US, please get in touch with Mr. Panchu.
Yeah, please.
He's coming there, and it'll be a USA mediation circle conference. We'll do a conference.
I tell my mediators, especially, I say we are a family.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what someone said.
Other people are, trade associations, professions, and all. We are a family.
No, Mr. Panchu,
the greatest thing that I've learned, and I'm sorry for interrupting, but Vikram has brought a great group of people together, and we have connected outside of our circle, and we are advocates for one another, and we ask each other, hey, can I put your information on my website? And, if I come across a mediation that I feel might be better for you, can we trade? And then second, I signed up for, it's called GoGo Mediation, and I'm doing mediations internationally. I just supported someone in the Czech Republic. Yeah. I'm loving it, loving it.
How lovely, how lovely. So please send me your email, just pick up my name, just say @gmail.com, that's it.
Well, actually, but this was last, I think when we were doing that, celebrating Michael Lang, Mandy was saying that this is not a community, it's a family. I don't know.
It's a family.
That's exactly what.
We have to be a family. We have to be a family. We have to be a family.
But I think that people who mediate have a like mind.
Yeah. At this point, I just have to get Lisa in, because Lisa has to leave. She just has to. But Lisa is also called Law Mom. And why she's called Law Mom, she'll tell you. Yes, Lisa, why are you Law Mom?
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure
Hi.
to be here. Hello, Mr. Panchu. It was
Hi.
very enlightening. I came across you in another webinar. I think you were part of the hosting, one of the hosts. So I am somewhat familiar with you. Yeah, I am known as Law Mom because I am an advocate or barrister, as they say, by profession. I left practice quite a while ago. Now I'm involved in legal education. I have my own academy. I was first introduced to mediation about 3 years ago when our lockdown hit. And it's just been a love affair with it ever since. And right now, as much as I continue with legal education and teaching my baby lawyers, I'm also trying to introduce them bit by bit to mediation and other forms of ADR. So that takes time because our educational environment, at least legal education, is not very receptive. So we're very adversarially trained. So I'm trying to convert, I'm trying to evangelize, I guess, with the audience that I have. And of course, through these involvement with Vikram, and I'm also involved with Mediate Guru since 2021. I've been dipping my toes in the international scene. And as Erin says, I have to echo that. It's just been, compared to the, litigation or the lawyer community, it's just, everyone's there for themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've just found this, mediators are such an accommodating, familiar, we're all learning from each other. As Erin said, Erin and I chat. We met via the previous symposium or the previous conference. And we just, it's just been amazing, not networking only for contacts or for business, but just finding, the people with the mediator mindset and just like-minded, very chilled out people, but, we're so committed to this, this high turnover of resolution, where we can just reduce the amount of conflict and the amount of, bad blood just through some simple, qualities that we possess and, just bringing that to the table and just reducing the acrimony in the world. So I'd say I have more of that than litigation, although I'll always love litigation, as you said, you're still in practice. That's something that's still very much in me, but I think even as a lawyer, I feel I would be ethically remiss if I did not recommend mediation first. I know too much, and so I feel like I'd be a doctor that's withholding like a miracle cure from.
But at this stage, I think we'll have to get other people in.
That's a lovely example. That's a lovely example. Lisa, listen, I can tell something. If there has to be a future, the future has to be us.
Exactly.
If there has to be a future, the future has to be us.
Yeah.
No way conflict resolution can go on with these courts and arbitrators.
No.
It has to be us. But I love this example of this. Hey,
but Mr. Panchu,
I'm holding back on the miracle cure. I love this. I love this. Thank you very much.
But Mr. Panchu, how are you saying we have to stop you from going to court? We have to stop you from being an arbitrator. If that happens, only then is there hope for other people.
What is the case I'm doing tomorrow? I'm doing a case for some 100 app developers in India against Google. I'm screwing Google in court. Now, what's wrong with that?
But you have to sit them together, sort it out. That's what we need from you.
That's a public service, Chum. That's a public service.
No, Mr. Panchu, we don't want you to go to court at all. Only online.
I'm a very nice, calm mediator. When I go to court, I come out. The youngsters come and say, "Sir, the tiger still roars." I said, "Yeah, it still roars."
Well, let's say hi to Zorika, because Zorika, I also haven't met before. Hi, Zorika. You want to say hi to us? That's the
Hello,
Hi.
everybody. Thank you for inviting me, Vikram.
And you have to tell us about yourself because we also haven't met before. So please tell us a little bit about yourself. And of course, Mr. Panchu will also hear you telling us about yourself. Please.
Well, I'm a mediator, licensed mediator from Serbia, Belgrade, Serbia. I actually had mediations only in, collective bargaining, workplace mediation, etc. Harassment, workplace harassment, and so on. I do have ambition to mediate one day, commercial mediation also. I have some education related to that. I'm specialist for international commercial contracts. So I'm very interested in that. What I actually wanted to say is that I do really respect what you do, Vikram. It's very important to connect people with the same, interests, and mediation is very, very specific. There is a lot of different competencies that we need to, share experiences and upgrade us related to, whenever you work with people, you work with their emotions, as I forgot the name, sorry, but the gentleman who spoke, thank him for sharing his experience. So I think it's very, very important for all of us to connect and to share experiences and to learn from each other.
Yeah, no, what we have to do is we have to work on the Serbia mediation circle also. I'll start that process. That seed also has to be planted. So we'll get that together. So thank you for coming. And now Palak is going to tell us about the work she's doing with the government in India and how she started looking at mediation as a good option. Yes, Palak, what do you say?
First of all, thank you so much. I mean, I can't believe my good fortune today to be talking directly to Mr. Panchu. Is like the doyen of mediation.
Oh, don't say that, don't say that.
I knew you're gonna take an objection on it. So I'm not corresponding it to the age, but of course your experience, sir, it's just
grand old man of mediation in India. We say that. I also say that.
She didn't say that. She didn't say that.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I say it.
Vikram, I'll fix you. You wait.
So just to keep it brief, I currently am working with the school education department of state of Madhya Pradesh, and we're working on the litigation problem that persists in these departments. So currently we are working with the school education, and I mean, thinking about it, people don't really see it as a litigious department, right? We see tax department and other departments as litigious, but school education department also is a very litigious department. It has thousands of service matter litigations pending, there are 10,000 writ petitions at present in just Madhya Pradesh alone.
Really?
Yes, sir. So, and all of them are on matters like, pension, gratuity, promotion, things that can be, most of it can be readily solved by just departmental representations, but they are, as you rightly said, that, the decision handicap that persists in the government is so much that they don't really want to take it up on themselves to do anything about it. So what they do is just put the ball in the court of the court. And then the court says, okay, department timely do this. And then only they take care of those. So it's a really big issue. So I just, when you were working about it, I'm sure, so you want to speak something on it. So
yeah. Palak, you finish first, and I have a suggestion. Finish first.
Yes, sir. So, we saw this issue, and then we understood, I saw that a lot of cases also go to court-referred mediation. So there is this element of mediation which is there in these cases. It's just that the government does not want to exercise it itself. They just want a court order, and they just want to put it on the court. Okay, fine. Court ne kaha hai, to ab to mediation karna padega.
Which means we'll have to translate. Court has said, so we'll have to do it.
We'll have to do it. Yes. Yeah. Court ne it's court's order.
Yeah.
So,
yes, finish. Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, sir. So that's the, crux of it, that, there is lot of potential when we talk about government departments or governance as such. There's a lot of potential of mediation. But yes, the decision handicap is a thing. It's really critical and it's hampering a lot. And I really feel, I see teachers and principals struggling for as basic as their own retiral dues.
All right.
breaks my heart. So I mean,
Okay,
we
fine.
really are trying on it.
Fine. Okay, let me give you a concrete idea.
Just Mr. Panchu, just 1 second.
Okay,
Just say bye to Zorika. She wants to leave. Bye, Zorika.
Bye,
Thank you for coming.
Zorika. Bye.
Bye. Everyone can say bye. That's bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Palak,
Yes,
let
sir.
me give you an idea. Very quickly, my friend Mohit Shah, when he was Chief Justice of the Bombay High Court, took all these kind of matters, which were not great law matters, just
Okay.
administrative matters,
Right, sir.
and he sat virtually like a judge cum mediator, but passed orders on the spot. He would say, "Acha, kya ho raha hai? They would say, "Sir, you pass an order, we finish it," like that. Okay. My suggestion to you is, there is a very fine judge called Giribala Singh in Madhya Pradesh.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
She is the registrar. Yes,
Yeah. So I'll connect you through to her if you don't know her. What I would want is, let's work on a pilot scheme.
sir. Right, sir.
Let's take education department cases in Madhya Pradesh. I'll find out who the Chief Justice is. Who's your Chief Justice?
Sir, I'm so sorry. I'm
Whatever, whatever. I'll find out who the Chief Justice is. I'll ask the Supreme
Yes, sir.
Court to tell him that Mr. Panchu will work with you on a special pilot program
Yes, sir.
for mediation in this case, which will be useful as the impetus of a national program.
Right, sir.
Okay, let us categorize these cases.
Yes, sir.
See which are sorted about mediation. Let's
Right,
devise a proper structure and a method.
sir. Right, sir.
Pick a good judge from the court. I'll come there. We'll sit
Right.
together, pick a
Right,
good
sir.
judge, and
Right,
we'll
sir.
work. It can be a very, very interesting, and education, school education, government service is a huge field. So let's
Right, sir.
work on this as a pilot project.
Right, sir.
Okay.
So,
The ball is in your court. You come back to me on my email. I'll
yes,
connect
sir.
Kiribala, I'll connect you through her. And once I'm convinced that you are ready,
Yes, sir.
I'll speak to the Supreme Court and get something done.
This is absolutely
I'm
fantastic.
clapping
sir.
everywhere. We have to clap. This is great. And because I've
Yes,
been
sir.
trying to get Mr. Panchu to do these kind of things. One is all like these mining projects and all,
Yes.
highway projects. I'm trying to make him work on that because he needs to just get activated. So there's so many interesting things he can do. Keep him out of the court.
Yeah,
That's
according to you, I'm an old man, yeah. So why you studying this thing?
No, this is really important. What you've just done, this is exactly what we need you to do. We need you for these kind of things, Mr. Panchu. Now,
Yes, sir.
that's
Yeah,
what.
Next, who's next?
Thank you so much. sir.
Who's
This is
next?
huge.
Let's-
Okay, Palak.
Look,
Yes.
look, Seville, we are getting Seville in. Seville is one of those he works in a very structured way, and that is our difference. I work where I have thoughts, I put them here and there, and she wants some structure. Yes, structured, Seville. Please introduce yourself to Mr. Panchu.
Thank you. So first, I'm from Turkey, and I've been a lawyer and a mediator. Beforehand, I worked as a foreign trade expert for about 15 years.
What
So,
expert? What expert?
I was foreign trade expert, and I was
Foreign trade.
working in government body. I was working in Ministry of Trade. And now I'm working by myself as a lawyer and mediator. And for example, today I had 2 mediation sessions. One was one was a rental issue, and the second one was a labor dispute. There are a lot of labor disputes in Turkey. Other than that, sometimes the municipalities, government bodies, banks, insurance firms are generally the parties that come for mediation. In Turkey, you have to apply for mediation if you want to open a file, start a file. I think it was useful because people didn't know about mediation, and now they try it. It is, of course, used for bad purposes as well. For example, sometimes there is no conflict at all. They just come to assure that the labor doesn't go to file any lawsuit whole his life. They just want to assure it, and they just want him sign it in front of a mediator.
Right.
So they do, for example, 100 mediation sessions in one day. Some mediators.
Ah, okay, that kind. Okay.
It's impossible.
Post office mediation. Yeah, in out. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Yeah, we have those type of mediations, but it is very risky, and some of them are getting nullified by courts sometimes. They can be a part of complaints. And also the rental problem started very recently, and it seems to be very important. They will be very popular.
Right.
And other than that, I love mediation a lot. As you said, even in commercial transactions, the human part is the most basic part, I believe. It is always humans.
It's always
Even
there.
if
It's always.
it's like numbers and all other stuff. But I also believe that the legal part is also important.
Important, yeah.
If you don't know about the legal terms and what is the background legally, you cannot ask the right questions. You cannot frame the problem. People speak and speak, but they don't know what they are talking about. You have to name it with the proper name, proper subject, and you can do it much better, much easily if you know the problem in legal terms.
Yeah, exactly. Then you can nail it. You can hit that bloody nail down their heads and say, look, boss, sorry, you're not going to get far away. I agree with you. Yeah.
But Ms. Panchu, Turkey is one of those countries where you have to be a lawyer to be a mediator. That's
okay. Listen, Seville, I came to your country a couple of years back. I went to the Blue Mosque and Hagia Sophia, everything. I loved. One thing I love the most, you have one buttermilk called iron, no buttermilk.
Iron.
It's fabulous.
The drink, I like.
Yeah, it is just fabulous. It's fabulous.
And you will feel full. You don't need to eat.
No, you don't need to eat. You can just drink that the whole day. I love it. You can't.
But don't we have an Indian thing like that?
No, nobody has. None of our Indian buttermilks matches that iron in that turkey, I tell you.
What is the secret, Seville? What do you put in it?
I feel like catching a plane coming to Turkey just to drink that iron buttermilk.
What do you put in it? What have you put into it, Mr.?
I don't know, but it's just
actually. It is yogurt, but not sweet.
It is something.
Salty. It is salty yogurt.
We have many Indian buttermilk, variation. This is a big country of diversity. You have different buttermilks in every different part of the country, but nothing to match your Turkish iron, I tell you. I salivate when I think. I don't mind giving up whiskey, but I can drink iron.
I cannot send iron, but maybe I can send talip someday. Talip is another drink that is unique to Turkey. That can be sent without
Instead, Seville, Mr. Panchu is in the mood
sounds
to
good.
Call him to Turkey.
I got my benefit from this.
Tell him when he's going to Los Angeles, he has to go through Turkey. Mr. Panchu, you take Turkish Airlines.
I'll take Turkish Airlines, yeah.
Ariel, whatever, that is going to be waiting for you.
Yeah.
But I actually want to get Yvonne in. Yvonne is there, but she hasn't put a video on. Yvonne, please put on your video. You can say hi to us. And then we have, of course, Ekta can come in late because you already know her, so she can come in.
We have Laura
later.
Also.
Laura, we are getting Laura in. Laura is in, of course, in Italy. Yes, Laura, how are you?
Everyone. Mr. Panchu.
No, my name is Sriram. I'm not Mr. Panchu.
For me, he has to be Mr. Panchu. I can't call him.
My name is Sriram. Please, I tell everybody call me Sriram, please. Yeah.
First, I want to say thank you, Vikram, for the invitation and for this opportunity to explore international mediation. I don't have any experience in mediation, but I'm eager to learn. And Moras, it's a subject that genuinely interests me. I'm very, very happy to be part of this mediation circle. And I want to thank especially to Mr. Sriram for sharing your experience and wisdom. You are a true source of knowledge for me. And I love mediation. I feel it's a part of me. I enjoy peacefully resolving dispute, and I believe that if everyone in their one way embraced peace, the world would be a better place. Now I want to present me. I'm a lawyer from Bucharest, Romania. And now I live in Italy for 16 years, where I have experience in cultural mediator in schools. In schools, I helped Romanian children integrate to the Italian community. And this year, I decided to deepen my mediation skills, and I attend every course and webinar related to it. And also I Medianos facilitator. Medianos is I have a project.
Basically, this is what Medianos is. Basically, a board game has been designed by Massimiliano, who's based in Italy. And it's, I mean, of course, it's about getting people to a process. It's like a process, step by step, do this, do that. Call it a game, and gives them a chance to explore mediation in a way. And you have facilitators being, in a way, trained, and then go out, and then they go out in schools and wherever, and they create this little event, and they have this situation. So she's working on that. I'm working with Massimiliano how to take it to the world, because it's right now, of course, it's all in Italian right now, but Laura just sent me something.
Nobody better than you to take it to the world. I agree.
So, but now we just get everything translated, put it together, and let's. So this is what she's working on, and so we did a little session in the World Mediators Conference on how it works. So we have something lying there on that. So thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you.
And we have to get a serious Ekta. I don't know why she's so serious. Ekta, you can't keep doing work while you're talking to us. She's like doing all her work. Ekta, you'll have
I'm trying to open a bottle, which is tough.
That's the most serious one.
Open a bottle of whiskey, it's easier.
It's not my, that's literally not my cup of tea. I'm a coffee drinker. I'm not a big fan of alcohol.
Okay. Ekta, just give me a put down. Okay, Ekta, go on.
No.
Look, you don't have to introduce yourself to Mr. Panchu, but you can introduce yourself to everyone else.
Hi, I'm coming to Vikram's, having conversation with Vikram on this show after a very, very, very long time. So, I mean, Vikram's conversations were staple at one point, every other night, we'd stay up till 11, 12, or even later. So I'm a transactional lawyer first, and then a mediator. And the more I hear Vikram shows, and I have to thank Vikram for pushing me to explore more. So because when we hear monotonous voices, we start thinking in a particular direction. But Vikram pushed me to explore more. And as Mr. Panchu and what Vikram also said earlier, the ecosystem is what we need to look at, not just who sits as a mediator. And for me, as a counsel or somebody who assists parties in mediation, it's very important to have an ecosystem. And the ecosystem of good mediators, great institutions is very, very relevant. So that, wherever there is a conflict or a dispute, I can figure out who is the best person suited with the temperament of my parties and for the kind of conflict that our parties also would deal with. So and thanks to Vikram, there are more and more mediators that I get to know. And that was one. And of course, my other constant struggle with Vikram is that I think we need to have a great court-annexed mediation.
Okay, thank you, Ekta. It was so nice of you to join us. I really like you having you.
Let's hear what she has to say.
Okay.
So Sriram, so Vikram and I always have always had a disagreement on. So I believe that mediation should not be for the privileged or the elite. Mediation should be able to give, and we should be able to address people who need not necessarily be able to afford mediators. So it has to be evolved in that sense. And court annex mediation can also provide great training for young mediators who come out.
Okay. Can I come back on that, Ekta?
Sure.
I'm advocating for the creation of an Indian mediation service,
Right.
which will be like the Indian Judicial Service or the Indian Administrative Service.
Right.
If we taken people into a cadre, they can either come permanently into the cadre or come on short service commission 5 or 10 years. That's number one. Number two, as much as I say that professional mediation should be the order of the day, we must have court annex mediation because there will always be people who can either not find their mediator or can't pay for one.
Right.
Must have court annex mediation, and professional mediation should be mandated. Should provide, X number of cases they must do in the court annex system. So we make it a combination.
Right.
In time, I want an Indian mediation service.
Right.
Draft in people, pay them the same rates as you pay other people in government. And say, boss, your job is mediation.
Right.
Fan out across the country in cities, towns, villages, panchayats. You're stationed there and this is your job.
I completely agree with you. In fact, this conversation I was having, that why is the government not thinking of having mediators on its roll so that they come in, etc., or pay a stipend where you have that, you get a stipend and you handle this.
No stipend, full salary.
I'm saying as an option, when you're looking at conversations,
you're a regular
everybody I'm speaking to is saying it won't work. It's not possible.
Why will it not work? There are disputes by the millions.
I agree with you.
Why will it not work?
I mean, and if you institutionalize it, it becomes a career option that can consider.
You attach a mediator to every government office, to every panchayat. You attach a mediator. Why will it not work? Of course it will work. Every good idea somebody said won't work. Hundreds of people said won't work. Mediation also said they won't work. When I started working on mediation, every blinking judge and every blinking senior advocate said, what rubbish is this? It won't work. So 14 years like Lord Rama I spent in the wilderness.
In fact, my introduction, I got into mediation thanks to Laila and you. There was a roundtable at NLS in 2014. And
But I think, look, Mr. Panchu, the important thing is all these conversations with the government and all that should keep happening. But here it's all about grassroots movement. Let's identify these mediators first.
Yeah, but Vikram, there is no grassroots as government, please.
I know, but I'm still saying that I don't want it.
There is no grassroots as government.
I just want it to be
you catch government, you've hit your grassroots.
I just want it to be a people's process. Let's just keep the government judiciary out of it.
We are so used to thinking the government is divorced from the people.
Yeah.
But that's wrong. We should bring government to the people, not effectuate the divide. And mediation is a great way to do it because it's such a friendly approach. Nobody can say no to it.
Well, I just feel that in general, the government's role in people's lives should be very limited.
No. Please understand. Even people in government want to win votes. They want to be seen as doing something good. Maybe I tell you, let's see, Modi next year election campaign will announce Indian mediation service. I'm bringing justice to the masses. We are employing, 40,000 people as mediators. Ekta will train them and we will have it on the rolls. My big election campaign item number 9. Who knows? Let's see. I'm meeting PMO when I go to Delhi on 24th September. I'll push this idea through.
Let's just push the idea that this bill should not be notified. Let's just have a simple law. Let people. No, we won't get into that. You haven't met Mandy. Mr. Panchu,
you are a dinosaur. You are consigned to history. Now leave it.
Now you have two people saying the same things. It's very different.
This fellow all the time will bring up this stupid idea.
I am going to keep praying.
We haven't listened to Mandy.
Yes, we have a Mandy. Hi. You want to say hi to Mr. Panchu? Yes, Mandy.
Mandy, you're on mute, I think.
Yeah, no, she's going to unmute herself. She takes a little. Yes, Mandy.
I have a problem with the mute thing. Vikram always reminds me that. Hi, everybody. Hi, Mr. Panchu. I'm very happy always to be together. This is the greatest gift Vikram gives us. I always say that we have become a family all together, but not only, I like more to say that we are all like terras all over the world. And Vikram is the Pacific Ocean that connects us. And it's so nice.
Andy, he's the internet. He's the internet. He's not the ocean. He's the internet. Vikram is the internet. Yeah.
He's the CNET because I love sea very much. I come from a country who has beautiful blue sea.
Yeah.
I have to, what Mr. Panchu, I have to put it out there. This is where she is. She's on this island called Zakynthos in Greece. All those good thoughts come from here. It comes from being in such a place.
Why are we having this online? We should have this where Mandy.
That's exactly what she keeps telling me.
Yeah. Look at this, my word. This is where you live?
Yes, and this is a proof that online is not the best way for everything.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay, Mr. Panchu, okay, now I'll tell you what's happening. Let me tell you.
Mandy, all my international mediations are coming to you.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll do it there.
Okay, now the route is he's going to stop in Istanbul. He's going to, from there, he'll come to Zakynthos. Then he's going to Los Angeles.
No more Singapore, no more Dubai, no more England, no more New York. I'm coming to your place.
Look, I tell you.
Let's swim the sea of mediation. Let's swim all together in the sea of mediation.
Yeah. Done.
No, but look, what Mandy wants to do is create a space in Zakynthos, which is mediation plus overall kind of a whole holistic kind of a thing. Yes, Mandy? Please tell Mr. Panchu about that.
This is one of the dreams I have, which is to help people come out of the everyday life with stress and make them feel this conflict so natural, and to come to a place to feel themselves, relax, and do things they like, swim, which is so beautiful sense of freedom and this power against the weight, and to make them think and feel what's best for them. How do they like their lives to feel? So I believe that it will be very useful to help people realize this beauty of friendship and mediation and all these things.
Mandy, create it. I'll come and visit.
Thank you. The other plan I recently
No, sorry. Dreams always come true when you believe in them. I know that for a fact. Dreams come true. There's no doubt about it.
That's so important and encouraging, because I'm trying to survive as a full-time mediation. And if I survive...
No, just do one thing. Just say, my financier is the Almighty. Okay, boss, you provide. That's all. Simple as that.
But anyway, so we'll do something has going to happen in Zakynthos for sure.
No, I'm telling you this through 47 years of starting consumer groups, environment groups, public interest law, mediation. You have a good project. The Almighty is there to be your financial.
Yeah.
Just work. He just wants you to set your foot on the path, because he needs to make sure that you're serious.
Yeah.
You set your foot on the path, you got your financial.
Yeah. And I also believe that all these beautiful things I've heard about the public thing. I mean, people can't feel calm to mediate if they live in countries and the power and the governments are forcing them very hard. Because I started this consultation, if you know, I had a PhD in public law for environment and consultation, which is the people take part in the decision making, so, which is what in mediation also they do. So I believe that these things both should work. Right. You can't have people feeling free to take part and decide about their cases, their own cases, if they live without democratic states listening to them and respecting their opinion. So I'm creating also a forum where people take part in the decision making. So I'm very happy listening. There are people all over the world trying to do mediation in public, because it's very important. You can't have another person in the private life and another person in the public life.
Right, absolutely.
And I'm very glad I will contact and maybe test our ideas all together about that and help governments
Mandy,
come closer.
You set your inauguration date for your center in your wonderful idyllic place. I'll be there.
Thank you very much.
Yep,
That's
I'll be
great.
there.
Mr. Panchu is now going to be out there. Each of those places, Mr. Panchu, you take a round the world ticket. And just go, this is what you need. We need you out there.
I'll go to South Africa. I'll go to Mandy's place. If I get invited by Laura, I'll go to Italy.
Well, let me tell you, Laura's was so nice. My wife and daughter were in Rome. She took them around there. So that's the only thing. I keep sitting on my chair, but there are people out there who've been so nice.
You just drop the itinerary. I'll get my ticket. Don't you worry.
You just, we have all the nations connected, so not a problem.
Yeah.
But you have to go with a purpose, Mr. Panchu. You have to go with a purpose.
At 71, life is beginning.
Why don't we both go together? We'll set up these circles in each of those places, Mr. Panchu.
No. I can find a better traveling companion than
Palak, you heard this? So he rejected my offer. It's like that.
You can catch another flight and come.
You are the only one,
Mandy.
Mr. Panchu. You are the only one who can take Vikram from this chair. Please, for us, do it for us. Say yes.
Okay.
All right.
And another company.
All right. Okay. I'll bow to popular demand. Okay, Vikram, you're coming along.
Yeah. Now I'll set up the whole tour. Creating Circles tour is what is going to happen.
All right. Okay.
So now you met everyone. Only thing is Yvonne is there, but she hasn't put a video on.
All right.
And Tina is there. Tina, you want to just say, put on your, what do you want to unmute and say hi to Mr. Panchu? Tina is also.
Yes, I will.
Yes, please. Are you going to put your video on also, or not your video?
Well, I'm on the phone. I'll do it for a minute, real quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, hello.
Hi, Tina. Hi, Tina.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, I love this conversation. Thank you, Vikram, for the work you do. And I'm thrilled to be a part of this circle. So my name is Tina Jones. I'm from the United States. I live in Delaware. My background is criminal and civil cases. I'm a mediator, facilitator, coach. I am fascinated with this conversation. So from what you've been sharing, I have connect, learn, reflect, integrate, practice. For me, mediation is what I was taught by my mentor, is a conversation with a purpose. It's the simplest explanation that I can give you for what mediation is. So I hope you guys like that.
Right, yeah.
Yes, and I like the idea of charging the same fee with better results. I think that's quite interesting what you have shared, Sriram.
But important, Tina, first of all, you have to tell Tina, you have to tell Mr. Panchu where you are, so he has to plan his US visit. So he has to put you also in the itinerary.
Where are you, Tina? Where are you?
Yes, Delaware.
Where are you?
Closer to the Delaware, the state of Delaware, closer to where the beach
Delaware, right? Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's known for some nice beaches. So what I wanted to find out, I'm curious about commercial mediation. That's the area I want to specialize in. So this has been a wonderful opportunity to be able to listen to all of these talented colleagues in the field. So what would be your advice as I'm starting this practice, which will be remote, because I do agree to commercial mediation would adapt very well to an online platform. What would your advice be in terms of focus, in terms of what is really needed for a commercial mediator?
Yeah, Tina, you're a lawyer, are you?
No, I just I have worked with a lot of lawyers, but no, I'm thinking about a master's of law.
No, what is your professional background?
I'm a mediator. I mediate with the courts.
You mediate. What is your
court mediator?
To what length of experience you have as a court mediator?
Well, I've been mediating for several years. I started mediating criminal cases. I did that for some time. So my background is criminal cases, and of course, I'm volunteering now with Maryland for civil cases.
So
I want to transition. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Transition to commercial.
Correct.
Correct. My advice is this. Commercial people like to see efficiency in delivery. They like to see a system in place. They are a bit concerned with this whole woolly-eyed idea of mediation. As you know, what is it? It's amorphous, it's in the air, it'll get us nowhere. So you need to structure it for them. You need to say, this is how this mediation will proceed. You will give me a note within so many days. You will then make yourself available for online interaction with parties, with lawyers, together, separately, whatever. I will prepare you for your first mediation session.
That is awesome.
Also tell them to give you confidentially any ideas they have for settlement. Prepare them for a first mediation session. You can do it online, you can do it in person. That depends upon, the geographics of where people are. At the first mediation session, hit the ground running. Just give them an hour and a half to talk generally about the background of their case, their long-term interest, all that, all that stuff. By 12 o'clock, hit the ground running. It's all right. What are your ideas for settlement? If you've done your homework well, they're coming to the table with their ideas for settlement. Hone them in. Don't let them go. Hone them in. Keep them there for the whole day and for the next day. You will get a settlement in 75% of your cases. Even in the cases you don't get a settlement, parties will come to you and say, this was a really professionally conducted mediation. We didn't settle for our own reasons, but this was professionally conducted. Word will spread. There is nothing like word of mouth for a mediator. The other thing is, if you can write articles in your local newspaper, whichever journal, whatever, or give a radio talk or a TV talk, just to talk about mediation is massively interesting for people. This is the process. It's so different from litigation. This is what it can do. Here are some success stories. This is how it's moving all over the world. It's so absurdly simple to do. It doesn't cost you money. It's a miracle cure, like somebody said. It doesn't cost you money. All you have to do is to get a good mediator, be willing to spend 2 days of your time. Is that a hell of a lot to ask when you're looking at a dispute which may span out to, 10 years or more, and going to fracture every relationship you have? So spread the word out, be seen as an advocate of mediation. We have to be evangelists. Those of us who are the beginners in the field, the pioneers, have to be evangelists. So don't worry, go in and do that. Write about it. Tell your Rotary Club, I'm going to come and give a talk on mediation. Be surprised how much mileage you'll get out of that. We're all business fellows over there. And they have a system by which they're always shorter speakers. So one good talk in a club will invite you to 10 more. Go in and do that. Spread the word, but be completely professional in your mediation. They need to get the idea that this is professional. This is science, this is professional stuff. She's keeping us to the line. She's got our statement. She's worked us through our statements. She's made us look at a long-term interest. a lack of alternatives to settlement. She's made us more legally realistic about our case, and she's made us come up with these are the only 4 things in mediation: long-term interests, lack of alternatives to settlement, legal realism, and okay, guys, come up with options, because that's what you're here for. You're home and dry.
But
Okay.
Mr. Panchu, Nina is waiting to say.
Tina, you invite Delaware. I'll come and give a talk.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Thank
But
you
Nina,
so much.
Nina wants to say good night to you. Nina, where are you, Nina? Yes, our little friend is going to say.
It's way
Okay,
past
I
the
think,
time.
Vikram, it's not
Mr.
just.
Panchu, yeah, our
I
little
have to
friend
say good night to you.
Nina wants to say good night first. Yes, Nina, what do you want to say to Mr. Panchu beyond good night? Anything about mediation, about your school, about how you're looking at mediation in schools? Nina, please tell us.
They need to give less homework.
Oh, that's a huge one. That's a huge one. You have an advocate with you. He's on your school vision committee. Send him a note. He'll take up your case. No homework. What do you mean less homework? What do these schools mean by giving people any homework at all? Let's start with no homework, Nina, and then we can settle for minimal homework. That's how we do negotiation.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So we pitched for a no homework campaign. You've kept us for 6 hours a day at school. Very well do your job in school. Don't make us slog at home. And then we'll settle for 10%. Okay?
Yeah.
Trick of the trade. Got it?
Okay, that's a good idea.
Good.
All right.
Yes, Nina, you got anything else? You want to say good night to everyone? What is your plan? This is unlike her, Mr. Panchu.
Nina, will you give a speech in school or no homework?
No.
Will you give a speech? I will create a platform for you because I have to come there and speak in assembly. So I've got a 45 minutes talk. I will speak for 35 minutes and I have a young friend who has a brilliant idea to promote. I'm in full support of that idea. Nina, Bell, and not Kasturi. The other way around, I'm not sure. Nina, come and give your talk, and I'm in full support of this. No, I hated homework. I hated homework. So I'm in full support of you. Let's crack it.
Okay, so now, but Mr. Panchu, you haven't met Francis. Francis is a judge in Barbados.
Hi, Francis.
You'll have to unmute yourself, Francis. You'll have to unmute yourself. You're on mute. You're on mute, Francis.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Hi, Sriram and others. I've been listening and very happy to be here to have taken this in. Just my 2 little comments would be that I tend to observe what's going on in a court system where we do have mediation operating. I am also a trained mediator, and I accept a lot of what has been said. I just wanted to make the point that, of course, it is also very true that in commercial mediation, sometimes simple human issues make a big difference. And I remember actually coaching some students from Brazil who had been put in contact with me with a Brazilian colleague, and they had a problem to deal with as part of their training for mediation. And part of the issue was that there were these 2 companies that dealt in a fabric, and the market had changed, and there was going to be some losses and so on and so forth, and they had to mediate how to sort of rethink the contract. And part of the issue was that the company had invited an individual from the manufacturers to the wedding of the son of this company who was selling the I see the head nodding, who was selling the fabric, right? And that became, you could not proceed with the commercial mediation without acknowledging that something beyond commercial relations had developed between the 2 parties. And I just wanted to make that comment so that it is understood that commercial is not going to take you away from those things that are very important to mediation, which have to do with the ability to deal with feelings, which is what we don't do in the court system very well. That aspect is extremely important to understand that. Yeah, there's some commercial stuff that people just don't like one another, don't care, don't see one another. All they know of each other is a piece of paper and a signature maybe. But there's a lot of commercial stuff where people actually have relations beyond the commercial operation. And those relations are important to how we go about trying to resolve the conflict. So I just wanted to make that comment. Thanks.
That's a great point, it's a great point. I'm doing a dispute between three brothers of a very prominent Muslim family in Hyderabad, whose parents left them a huge amount of property, buildings, land, etc. And these guys are fighting over companies, various things, property, etc. And I've got them down to the wire. And the dispute is hinging on 10 acres of land. I mean, they have hundreds of acres, but it's now they're focusing on 10 acres of land in one particular area. And one guy is saying, I want all 10. One guy, the others are saying, I won't give you anything. Three brothers. So guess what's my solution to them? I'm going to say, look, you guys, you've got all this money from your parents, the assets. What have you done for your parents? Zilch, nothing. So you fellows utilize these 10 acres, build a public institution in memory of your parents. Be grateful to your parents, and all three of you participate in this. Your parents will be happy, they both left this world. That's my solution number one. It's coming only from me. But I've now developed, this is a bit, I don't think I'm a facilitative mediator anymore. I never was. I don't even think I'm an evaluative mediator now. Somewhere I've transitioned to being an authoritative mediator. It's a bit of an antithetical thing to say so, but this is what I do now. I just say, well, this is my gyan, this is what I think you guys should be doing. More often not, who gets accepted. Good. Do it for your parents. Put up a public institution in their name. All three of you be the owners of the land. All three of you, end your bloody fighting and participate in running it well. Your parents will be happy. You'll benefit. Solution number one. You don't like it? All right, I'll come to valuation and ground values and what I think is this thing, but this is it. I think, you're a trusted mediator. Parties will come to you and say, ha, sir, okay, you're saying it, we'll take it. It also matters, for them, they would have told their friends, my demand is so much. The friend will say, how come you gave up? They'll say, no, the mediator told me to give up. I couldn't say no to him. It's another, he's the fall guy kind of thing. Lots of roles we play as mediators.
But just one second, Mr. Panchu, Gabrielle wants to say bye to you. She has to go pick up her daughter.
I think I have to also say bye, Vikram. I've stayed actually an hour beyond what I was going to stay, but I'm so glad I stayed because I met some wonderful people.
Yes, that's the nice part. But Gabrielle, first let's let Gabrielle say bye. I'll leave because the daughter is waiting for her. She has to pick up her daughter. Yes, Gabrielle, you can say bye to us, and then we'll have a meeting with Mr. Panchu. We'll discuss all the government things and everything. We'll get Palak into the discussion also. We do all that. But you can say bye right now.
Yes, thank you, Vikram. It was great meeting you with all you guys. It's a pleasure always, Vikram, to be with people like this. So interesting, the conversation, but I really have to go. Bye, everyone. Take
care. Bye, Gabrielle. Thank you for coming.
To talk about public institutions mediation, right?
Yes. We're going to do
bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye, Gabrielle. Vikram, can I take leave now? It's
yeah, please. Everyone is just going to say bye. Okay.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you. It's been a very good
session.
Good
night, everyone.
It was been lovely, Mr. Panchu. Always a pleasure speaking to you. Always a pleasure.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Anyone who's okay, one said bye. Yep. Yes, Ekta. Okay. Bye, Laura. Bye, Ekta.
Bye. Good night.
But Francis, we have to do the Barbados mediation circle. It's going to be a model country as thing. Yes, Ekta. Yes, Francis, a model country where everything is based on mediation.
I hear you. Okay. I like the inspiration. Like, think about it again and
Yeah,
try to
because
put something down.
I mean, I'm telling you, 280,000 people we can work with. It's, and then Mandy, of course, the Zach and Thos mediation circle with 50,000 people. These are the models that we have to create. Yes, Mandy, or no?
Yes, we have this this sense of forgiveness in my island. And
okay.
they say that forgiveness is one very important basis you can contact, I believe.
So all those values we have to bring out.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what Francis, all those values are all out there. We just have to bring them out.
Agreed.
Yeah. So we'll start that process. So thank you very much for coming in, and please participate in other events. I keep sending you the invitations, but I think maybe you missed those messages or whatever.
The time thing is I have to, each time I have to think about it again to see what's the time difference and what I'm doing at the time when you are going to be on. It's like tends to be in the middle of my working day, and that's part of the issue, you know. Yeah.
We'll figure out a time which is all right for you. Maybe a weekend or something. We can do something there.
Yeah.
You can invest the online time, Vikram.
Yeah.
Online time.
Yeah, no, it's sometimes
online world needs an online time.
Yes, and even though for me, India time is that time. That is my online time. I fixed a certain time in the day when I say, okay, this is the time I have to do it. But we can obviously do it in my morning also. But of course, Tina also wants to say bye. Thanks, Tina, for coming in. Bye.
Thank you so much. It's great to meet all of you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. So Michelle's episode of In Conversation with a Beautiful Mind is going to come up, Francis. So please watch out for that. That'll be interesting.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, well, nice being here, and thanks for the invitation as usual. And I'll take my leave now as well.
Yeah, so we'll see you then. I'll send some communication on that Barbados thing, and let's just get started getting it going. All right.
I also live on an island, by the way. Maybe we can compare islands at some point.
Yeah.
The island mediation circle.
Great.
Okay.
We will compare our blues.
Yes.
The blue color of our sky, of our sea. We'll play blues.
Yeah, actually, what I did not put the pictures of Barbados. I should have looked at that also.
There's some nice ones out there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. Nice. I mean,
yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, nice.
Nice blue.
Yeah. You people are lucky people sitting in these beautiful places. And still, if there is obviously still conflicts, there are still disputes.
Of course.
That's the sad part.
That's the sad part, yeah. Okay.
All right, Francis, thank you very much for coming in.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
Okay.
Last minute
Bye-bye.
invitation, but yeah, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye. So, Mandy, what I will do is, Yvonne is, of course, let me just cut the live stream and the recording. And then we can do our chat